Registeel, Regirock, and Regice will be the new legendaries coming to PokeMMO. First, let me explain. Before we get into it, let's look at what catchable legendaries we do have within the game. Raikou, Entei, and Suicune were the first to arrive at the announcement of the new Johto region, which allowed players to catch the legendary dogs once they defeated Hoa. Fast forward to Christmas 2023, and the new legendary birds Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno were released. Although it wasn't plainly announced that the birds were released at the Christmas event, it was mentioned a massive icy bird, which could only be a reference to Articuno. So, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's dive into the evidence that we have. The legendary family tree, which should pop up on the screen now, as you can see, the dogs were created by Hoa and were directly involved in the Johto storyline, mainly Suicune. The only requirement in order to catch the legendary dogs is to beat Hoa, and I know what you're thinking. According to the tree, Lugia created the birds, yet it's originally from Johto, so why were the legendary birds added? And I have a theory for that, which is also related to the dogs as to why the dogs were allowed to be caught in the first place. If they went with the previous options and allowed the legendary dogs to be caught and either sit in your room like they did in Unova or turn them into roaming legendaries like Mewtwo, Rayquaza, Keldeo, and Arceus, there, one, would be simply too many roaming legendaries considering the amount of people who are actually hunting for these legendaries. And two, imagine the public outrage / dissatisfaction there would have been if the new region, which had been delayed multiple times, came out and made 3 brand new legendaries inaccessible. They added the new legendaries which could be caught, saw the positive responses, then they decided to add the legendary birds too during Christmas, which was at its peak in terms of player count, in order to keep up with the player interaction and to keep things new and fresh. So now we come to the question, why the Regis and why not Regigigas? Surprisingly, there is a very simple answer to both questions. First off, why not Regigigas? Well, if we are following the trend we've seen previously with other legendaries, we've had the parent and their 3 children. For example, Lugia, which is the parent, and then the 3 children, Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos, and we see the same trend with Ho-Oh and the 3 legendary dogs. So, Regigigas being the parent and the other 3 Regis, Regirock, Regice, and Registeel, as we've seen with Ho-Oh, it was a battle including the dogs, which Regigigas could follow the same blueprint. However, this opens the door to a counter argument, which is why not Terrakion, Cobalion, and Virizion? Or even why not Reshiram, Kyurem, and Zekrom? While it would be nice to have these Pokemon as personal legendaries, to put it simply, it's pretty unlikely. As I mentioned before, Keldeo is already a roaming legendary, so there is no other parent for Terrakion, Cobalion, and Virizion, unless the devs decided to revert Keldeo's status as a roaming legendary, which I highly doubt. And with the case of Reshiram, Kyurem, and Zekrom, although they're from Unova, they're from Black and White too, which contains some differences to the original. I don't think they'll become new legendaries right now, but maybe in the future. And to answer the other question as to why the Regis, to put it simply, there isn't much content endgame wise to do in Sinnoh. In Kanto, you have the legendary birds. In Unova, you can fight Morimoto or Cynthia, and the region as a whole is just honestly glazed. So when you have nothing to do, you can just glaze it some more. In Johto, you have Ho-Oh, the legendary dogs, Red, and Mount Silver. The only other region is Hoenn, which does have the battle frontier, but besides that, it's also lacking in things to do. Shiny hunting is applicable to all regions, but for the sake of this video, I'ma just skip past it. However, at the end of the day, everything I've just said is a theory, and nothing has been announced yet from the devs. You're free to disagree with me, and if you have any other theories, leave a comment and I'll check it out. But besides that, we have reached the end of this conspiracy video, which is actually the first time I've written a script. Feel free to correct me in the comments.